Yo, we back again with the Higher Learning Podcast with another episode on this wonderful Sunday night, live and direct with Tez the Great. I know y'all haven't seen that nigga in a long time, but there his black ass go, y'all. And so I'm gonna bring in Tez, and once again, Devery is back again with us. What's popping, y'all? What's popping?
What's the motherfucking deal, man? Don't be acting like I ain't been nowhere. Shit.
They
I'm
ain't seen
still
you
the
over
same.
here.
Man, I'll be on other shit though.
No, he do.
Yeah, I still be cracking, man. I've been shot on. I've been trying to get us back cracking. We try to get 2 days, 3 days, but Tez is great. I've been working hard. Nigga feet bleed out here. Nigga, I got my Jesus sandals on right there. Good.
Man, how's your day going, Devery? How about you? What's going on?
Good. Just I've been running since this morning. Had my class this morning at the park. Cool, real cool.
That's what's up. You be having them classes going, getting motherfuckers getting that fat off of people, man. That's always valuable.
Absolutely, good energy.
Mandatory.
Yeah. Make sure you guys go
like that.
Comment, share. High Nation Society YouTube, High Nation Society Facebook, The Politicking YouTube. Like, subscribe, share. Follow me on Instagram at HNS420. Follow Tez the Great on Instagram. Follow Devery's page, which is
Instagram Devotion to Health TO Devotion to Health one word.
Yes. Thank you.
Word. Follow up and share, man. Support the black businesses.
Please do. Gonna get right into it. Over this last week or 10 days or so, we lost 3 for some reason. They say it happens in 3s. We DMX, Black Rob, and Shock G. All 3 of us are old enough to say that those 3 guys are part of our childhoods. So
do
it, baby. Do the humpy hump. Don't make me start this shit now. I get to start fucking shit up. Let's stay on topic today. We gotta stay on topic.
Yes. So we'll start out with one of my favorite artists ever, DMX. DMX that was the first album I was allowed to buy. I grew up in a tight, strict home before mom's passed, and she wasn't letting niggas buying no rap albums, and I somehow convinced her to buy that Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, and I played that shit out for a whole year straight because that was the only album that I had. So DMX, he definitely had a special, I had a special connection with DMX. You know what I'm saying? I learned so much from him, and I felt he was a real dude, real nigga from the East, from New York, and he taught me personally. I learned loyalty. I learned being down for your family and your peoples from a lot of that from DMX's music. So it's sad to see the way he went. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people don't realize he did some shit a lot of rappers ain't never did. He dropped 2 multi-platinum albums in 1 year in 1998. I don't know if people realize that.
I didn't know that.
2 platinum
niggas,
triple platinum albums in 1 year. And then he come back with a 3rd album in 1999, which also go triple platinum. So DMX, he's underrated. Like the drug use and all the negative headlines have kind of skewed what he was. But as a rapper, he's underrated, man. He's one of the greats. He gotta be on everybody's top 15. Gotta be. You know what I'm saying? So I want to ask you, Tez, what did DMX mean to you growing up?
Man, fucking everything. I used to go to sleep and listen to DMX like all through junior high school. I was just always one of those guys that just listen to music to fall asleep or watch TV. And in high school and junior high, it was listen to music. You feel me? And shit, DMX was, man, more of inspiration because it was like I listened to his music when I went through a lot of shit. Like I went through a lot of shit growing up. So it's like his music really connected to me. on a lot of different levels. Not so like the drug use later on in life, you know what I mean? Not at that age. It was more like, man, his music just touched your soul, like, and when he rapped and he said certain bars and listen to certain songs like Damien, nigga. Damien is my favorite fucking song. Like Damien, nigga, like so
1, 2, and 3.
One is the best one, and then the third one is probably the worst one, but 1 and 2, nigga, nigga,
sound like DMX.
What you said? What?
That's like DMX.
A lot of them, my nigga Jay. You met Jay. Jay always called me DMX. He like DMX type nigga. I be like, shut up, nigga. Wow, you know I'm a wild nigga just like him. So you know that I really connected to him on that level. Like, why the fuck am I like that? But I'm just like that nigga. But musically, yeah, definitely. I say top 10. I definitely say on my top 10, DMX is just, man, I was just so shocked. And I just it's so shocking, you know, because you seen him doing great and, you know, he was speaking the word and he always spoke the word, but just on the, you know what I mean, he just was really coming out, you know what I mean, and we just know what type of lifestyle he had once upon a time, and for him to come out like that and to see a total 360. Man, like it was a totally different person, and then he just dropped that. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe none of this shit no more. I just, you know, trying to live the best life, man. Because I ain't trying to end up like them, man. Because there's something that's going on. You can't tell me it's not. Like, what the fuck? Like, 3 niggas just dropped it, and all of this shit is the same shit. Heart attack. Oh, he died from a heart attack. Nigga, everybody heart ain't that fucking bad. What the fuck? Fuck out of here, man.
Thank you, Ted. It's great. I miss that, man. Definitely. How did DMX impact your life growing up? Like, what was he to you growing up?
You know, I never bought a DMX album, but I remember the singles that just went hard with, you know, I was always into dancing, so I had done routines to DMX, you know, with groups and things like that. So that's what I remember most is his music was definitely the energy and the music was definitely hyped where it just fed my spirit and soul with, you know, my dance routines and just getting it going hard. And that's pretty much what I did like in my younger days. So that's how I connected with DMX.
You were shaking it up to DMX?
Oh yeah.
Especially y'all gonna make me lose my mind.
Oh yeah. You had niggas in there losing their mind. Hey, look, she had niggas in there losing their mind.
I know. Watch what you manifest. Watch out.
Hey. Shout out to DMX, you know, Black Rob, Shock G, you know, definitely
man.
They play a big role in my life as DMX, but I definitely remember Black Rob.
Right.
Like, whoa, he will forever be a legend for my soul.
But that was the only song.
Well, you know, they said his album was dope. I didn't really listen because I wasn't.
I never got that far.
Me neither. I wasn't a Bad Boy fan. But I remember like, whoa, man, and Shock G bought Tupac out, so we always got to give.
Of course. And then the Humpty Dance, you know, that was the shit.
Yeah, the Humpty Dance.
You already know.
You know what I mean? So, you know, shout out to rest in peace, DMX, Black Rob, Shock G, and we're definitely praying for their family.
Yeah, definitely praying for condolences out to their families, man. Because it was crazy too. Like DMX died, and then Black Rob get on YouTube, do the little video, and then nigga 2, 3, 4 days later, he just come on, man. I'm just saying, like, it is life is just so like. It is, man, so precious, man. It's like this is a time, like, really, like with all this COVID shit too. It's just like enjoy life, man. Fuck the bullshit, man. Love your people, love yourself, and nigga, because shit, you can be here today, gone tomorrow. You already know.
Straight up, man. Going into the next therapy and psychology in the Black community. For some reason, we tend to overlook it, ignore it, and act like it's not important, which leads to mental health issues, which leads to all type of negative things that are trickling down in our community. Our previous generation, they definitely didn't teach us to that they're, oh, we don't want them white folks all in your business and this and that. Or, no, you don't need that. You don't need to go get diagnosed. Can't nobody tell you what's wrong with you. But at the same time, when are we gonna stop trying to do the same thing over and over? You know, and expect a different result? That's retarded. Like, so I think, you know, Devery, touch on therapy and psychology, what the importance is in the Black community.
Oh man, it runs so deep. I mean, if we start off with childhood, how many of us have traumatic events? And I'm talking about whether it's child abuse, molestation, you know, somebody to touch somebody, you know, as far as an adult, like I said, molestation. I mean, it's been so many different things. Or you can go lighter and say divorce or things like that, where it's traumatically affected a child, and then the child grows up, right? And so, you know, dealing with emotions, right? A lot of times, especially like I would say my grandmother's generation, I know, to keep it 100, and my family could hate that I'm gonna say this, but I know in my family we have several people in the family that have issues with molesting folks, and I'm just gonna keep it 100. So, you know, and that's just real. So, you know, but guess what? People kept it a secret, and then as we got older, we found out. Like, oh, y'all knew Uncle what you call it had an issue, but y'all ignored it.
That's that bullshit right there. Yeah, that's that bullshit. That's that bullshit.
Right.
Or I know my parents were protective of us, but I never knew why. And then when I got older, I found out that Uncle such and such.
Right.
You know, when I went to family's house, my mother said, "Don't you sit on nobody's lap." Right? I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what was going on or why. And I only bring up that because that's just one of those, especially I would say in a Black family where we don't talk about it. We don't want to keep it real. Right. But going back to therapy and psychology, you know, the psyche is so important because, you know, everything starts mental, right? And then your body follows. So many of us are suffering in silence, meaning that we're not talking to nobody, we're not saying nothing, or we just medicating, self-medicating. That's what they call it in the therapy and psychology world, is self-medicating. You know, because if I use this to make it go away, it didn't happen. Right.
Exactly. That shit doesn't work. Never works.
No, it doesn't, because you just end up suffering more, and then your addiction, you know, just heightens. Basically, your addiction heightens, and the issue is still there. And
compiling problems, basically.
Right. It's like you just continue to have more and more issues. So therapy, talking to somebody. Now, I don't agree, because even in the field that I work in, you know, I don't like that. You know, it's predominantly, I don't want to say predominantly, but it's a lot of white therapists, women, that believe that they can connect to a lot of our Black children.
They can't.
But the culture is crazy, because they read a book and they think they got the answers.
No, that's not at all. That's the wrong way to even fucking go about it. It's like we didn't learn from a fucking book to be like this. We didn't learn this shit from a fucking book, so how they gonna learn it from a book? This shit is in our DNA, like period.
Exactly. And so I think, but you do have more Black therapists, I want to say, to connect to more of your children of color, which is Black, even Latino, whatever. You know, it makes sense. But that world where that system is just so, because I'm talking about children, just because we grow up as adults, right? A lot of the people we see on the street, they was probably in the system sometime as a child. In the foster care system, that's a huge gateway to homeless, just to keep it real. And so a lot of the kids that were in the foster care system, they end up homeless. Because their behavior leads them to basically the street, because nobody's gonna deal with, and they put these kids in facilities, and they want these kids to let me tell you, they do not, the reality of what children need as far as skills, right? How to live, just simple skills like financial literacy,
Right,
things like
right,
that.
right.
They don't teach that stuff when they lock
Hell
up in
no.
these rehab centers. They don't do that.
Right,
They
right.
actually create entitlement, and these kids end up thinking, okay, well, if I don't act up, I'll get what I want, or if I act up, I'll get what I want. If that makes sense to you guys. So
Manipulate.
I can see, I can see
Right,
act up, get
right,
what I want, and I don't have to go to
right.
therapy. But I don't need to go to therapy because I don't want to see you because you're white. I mean, there's so many different reasons.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
so reality is these people aren't going to deal with people that, do these things, tear up your house. A
Right,
lot of these kids have the, anger challenges that they have.
right, right.
Want to tear up people's house. Nobody's going to deal with that. So where
Right.
do they end up homeless? So now we have a huge, crazy homeless population. And
Man,
I'll say people that are homeless because it's by choice a lot of times. And that's a hard pill to swallow. Let me say that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to believe that some of these people are extremely smart, highly intelligent, and don't want to live by rules. They don't
Right.
want to.
they don't want to pay bills and have all that responsibility and shit. And I feel them shit. I got an uncle. My dad was just telling me about my uncle. I really don't know my dad's side of the family. But he was telling me about one of his brothers. He said he just goes and picks them up and like they like my people do it good. Like they all stay in the same area. So it's not like he don't have nowhere to live. Like or places to go. Like he like the way he live. He don't want to deal with all that shit. And I told my pops, I said, that's one thing I will never tell somebody is to compromise their happiness for somebody else. Like that nigga happy.
That part.
Hey, pop, keep doing what you doing, my nigga. Like you feel me? Just keep doing what you doing. Like, because at the end of the day, it don't matter what you do for him. He loves that. He likes it. He cool. He's straight. Leave him alone. Go get him a beer and chill with him, chop it up with him, and send the nigga up out of the way because he cool. He happy. He ain't telling you he unhappy.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
We got a comment from Master Smothers. What up, dog? What up, fo? He say she's speaking facts.
Man, truly.
Another one before you keep going. You got another one. CC. What's up, CC? She say speaking all facts. Just had to let you know. Go ahead.
Okay. But yeah, the other side of things is if you look at mental health, right? We talk about mental health in the Black community. I think that's more of a topic now. I know you hear some celebrities actually talk about that now, especially with women. But I'll just say, period, especially in the Black community. I would say that you have the actual those mental health challenges where people are in and out of being present. So they in their head, we could say schizophrenia, right? You're talking to how many other people we don't know, and then you become present. So people go in and out, in and out. They call that mental illness, right? Where you can't control it, right? Because we all be in our heads sometimes, if you think about it, right?
It's hard not to as a human.
Yeah, it's just like you gotta be like, hey, what's up?
Man.
You like, oh man, my bad. I was daydreaming, right? Or you just be in your head, or you hear your inner voice, whatever you want to call it, speak to you, and then you make a decision. So, but mental health, a lot of people allow it to control their functioning, and that's where it becomes ill, right? It's ill when you cannot function or something's taken over your ability to function. That's like the alcoholic, the addiction takes over versus being in control. So yeah, it is psychology because it messes with the psyche, and I think it's just important, period, for all of us. And now, solution to the problem, man, what is the solution to help our mental health? I mean, everybody does stuff different,
I mean, I think proper diagnosis. A lot of us, like I said, when you go see a psychologist, the psychologist's job is to diagnose you. So if you're not open to receiving what they're telling you is wrong with you based on what they're hearing and based on their skills and their talent, if you're not going to trust that, you're not going to be properly diagnosed for what you have. If you're not properly diagnosed, how are you going to fix the problem if you don't even know what the fuck the problem is? So,
And Ronnie, you bring up a great point because the issue we have, just this is crazy, but I'm gonna tell you, and I say they, meaning the system, loves to diagnose our black boys with ADHD. Everything is
I got
ADHD.
it. I got it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, on
yeah.
everything.
You and every other guy,
I
I mean,
got it for sure though. For sure. Like
and
it's Ronnie Teller.
no, he really got it. But I know what you're saying. No, he got it. He got ADHD,
I got
whole alphabet. All right.
our minds be moving. I get it. You know,
Right.
yeah,
we get
yeah.
forgetful. Our minds be moving. It's hard to
Right.
focus. But I'm gonna say that's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's
for
a
real.
diagnosis that they love to use, and that starts the paper trail of mental illness. Dr. Umar,
Right.
a lot of us know, he speaks a lot about this because that's his focus. So what they do is with little boys, right? If I start you off with ADHD, you got a mental problem at, let's say, 7. You can't
Mm-hmm.
focus. That paper trail leads to school, right? Now you got a paper trail on you. Okay, now you acting like you can't follow the routine in class. So now I'm writing up reports that you can't focus. You won't listen to the teacher. That's ADHD. This is what they say,
Yeah.
right? Not that you're bored, not that you have such a high intelligence that you want things to move faster. You know what I mean? They don't talk about those things. You have an issue. So what I'm saying is that paper trail leads to now you have other issues. And
Right.
then that's actually,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest, I would agree with Dr. Umar. That's almost like a gateway to prison, to
Mm.
jail.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it starts
Right.
it starts you off young, right? In the system.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
So, um, you know, but then we got the other side where it's like, okay, no, there's a problem. Oh, ain't nothing wrong with Joe. He good. No,
Right.
something's wrong. Like he needs to see
Mm-hmm.
somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
Nah, he
Right.
good.
Joe needs some
Mm-hmm.
help.
Right.
Joe needs some help.
Right.
Jojo,
And we
what's
gotta
wrong with you,
take charge
Jojo?
of it.
Jojo, what's wrong?
Yeah, for real. Y'all,
Nigga, for real though. For real. You speaking the truth, like niggas be ignoring that shit. We want to say like act like somebody is okay, but we know damn well they not.
right.
Right. Well, see, I wanted let me touch on it a little bit because I like from my generation. I was born in '88. Um, our parents really didn't pay attention as much as my grandma and my grandma's mama did. Like it was just a different. It was just a big difference on um how they were with their children. So yeah, it started off young and our parents not really being attentive to us, you know what I mean, and catching those problems when we were like 3 4, like because when I was young I used to beat my head. Like they call me Bam Bam. My nickname is Bam Bam. Nobody calls me Cortez at all. Like my family does not call me by my first name at all. It's just weird when they call me by my first name. So I kicked my leg like in my sleep. I kicked my leg and beat my head like all the way until I was like 13, 14. And I still like kick my leg like every so often as an adult. Like and like I'm like, man, as I start getting older, I'm like, hey man, like there's something wrong with me, man. Like this ain't normal. Like I just don't like to sit down and it's like it's not like I'm not a smart person. Like I'm very intelligent.
Right.
I love school. It's just this shit is just uninteresting to me. Like it's
Right.
like I'm like I just go to class and just like, oh man, this shit is bullshit, man. Put my head down. Like, when is the fucking bell gonna ring? Like, I'm just instantly like uninterested, like fast, like
Right.
uninterested,
Bored.
fast. Like,
For
yeah.
sure.
So, then it's like now, like I'm like I said, I'm getting older, and then I'm like, now I'm starting to listen to people a little more. Like, so when people say things about me, like I'm like, okay, maybe they're right, type shit. Like my dad said, like, and they like you're bipolar. Like my girl say you bipolar. Like there's about 5 people that said this shit. So I'm like,
You're like, wait a minute, man.
Like, you feel me? But yeah, that's it. It started off when I was younger, and then since I've been incarcerated, I started going to jail when I was juvenile. I had my rebellious days or whatever. But in that's a whole nother story. The way how mentally that messes with you as well.
Right.
Yeah, it's just and then me catching these cases, I've taken anger management twice, and I had anger management for 28 weeks for as a juvenile, or whatever.
Damn,
And
28 weeks. The
yeah,
fuck was you doing?
What do you mean?
Damn, 28 weeks.
Yeah, they gave me anger management 20. It was part of my
Like
little
7
deal or
months.
whatever. Yeah, but look, that's what I'm gonna say. I was young. I was 17, so like I really didn't. This fucking Muhammad Akbar nigga was trying to. What wrong with you? What's your problem, nigga? I didn't understand the nigga, so I'm just like, man, like I don't want to do this shit, man. My mom used to be there too, and then like trying to tell, like, so why are you angry? And then man, shut the fuck up, man. I'm trying to get the fuck up out of here, man. I'm 17, like I don't want to be here, type shit.
Right.
So I didn't really grasp anything from it. I'm gonna be real, like I was just saying that motherfucker, like, man, let me the fuck out. Like I'm trying to get this shit over with. So then I called another case, and they gave me 52 weeks this time, and that's a year. So when I did the 52 weeks, I did it at this little rehabilitation center in Upland. And the lady Cynthia, she was like really great, and like this thing she taught me, like it was like I really always needed somebody like her, because she been through like she had been through a lot too. Like you start, you know what I mean, start learning more about her, and I started to see like things she can really like. She really helped me at the end of the day. Like some of the stuff, I like some situation I go through, and that was what 2013 that I took that class, you know what I mean? So, and it's like still to this day, what she taught me, like I really took a lot from it. 52 weeks, you gotta take some from it. At first, I was trying to do the same little bullshit, you know what I mean? Like, man, fuck that shit. But then I just like really like slowly but surely, like she started to tap in with me, and then like I was going through a lot still at that time. Ronnie been knowing me for a long time, so it's like I ain't never really had like no just like a fun life. I ain't never had a fucking fun life. My shit has always been hard and rough and shit. So it was like I'm going through this. I got to do this shit. I don't got no car. I'm on a bus, and always the nigga struggle. You feel me? So like I just started really like I took that shit in, and that shit it really helped me. So I do encourage it, and I went through a depression too. And it's like, man, it's better to have somebody that's like trained to talk to you instead of just having a regular motherfucker just talk like a friend, a family member. Because you motherfuckers is too judgmental today. As soon as you tell a motherfucker something, they're gonna go back and tell the next one, and then now your shit. Hey, you know that nigga was trying to kill himself the other day.
Right.
You know that nigga tried to that nigga. Hey, look, Sharon. Better call the police. That nigga is trying to kill himself. He trying to do that shit again. They talk about you where it's like, motherfucker, I might as well kill myself because you motherfuckers is not no motherfucking. What the fuck? I didn't tell you that to go run and go kill Sharon, bitch. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But and it's most. I'm just not saying it's just our people. Everybody be like that in some senses, but it's like, man, we gotta go to somebody that's like trained to do that shit. Don't talk to your mom and shit like that, because people are you on drugs and all this other shit. No, motherfucker, I'm going through something, nigga. The world is nigga. Feel like the weight of the world is on my shoulders. Stupid.
Right. Exactly.
You know, it's sad because in a way it is, because the goal is for you, for especially Black men, to never like really be, you know, wealthy.
Show emotion, yeah, show emotions and cry and
wealth, and just the way the system is built. You know, it's really to feminize you guys. It's to, I mean, it's a lot of it is directly toward you guys. and that is
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
guys hold power, and
Yeah.
that's just what it is. So the system was never created for you guys to flourish. It's
Right.
very hard,
Right.
and so
Mm-hmm.
I know I've had many black men tell me that they've experienced depression, and that's why they drink the way they do. That's why they've considered suicide because it's
Mm-hmm.
so hard. Like you said, it's so hard, and then it's like, why is it so hard? Why am I living like this? Why can't
Man.
things work for me? And you
Man.
question why. And so if things don't make sense to you, you just it's hard to come out of.
That
So,
shit make you question your faith.
your
No,
faith.
man,
Why are
man,
you
make you question
here?
your faith for sure. You be like, God, what the fuck, nigga?
Right.
You be talking to him like, man, what the? You be mad too, nigga. What? Yeah.
I've
And
had
like
Man,
that's
really
how it
black
be
men.
though. It was like,
Yeah.
man,
psychology, definitely we gotta definitely do better with it and try to handle it better.
right,
Get properly
right.
diagnosed, talk to some professionals. I wish I would have. I know if
Yeah.
I've had some
Sure.
mentor or some psychologist and some therapist growing up to help me with navigate through my problems, I could have avoided a lot of shit. So, definitely want to stay on top of that. We can talk about this all day, but we got to move
All
on.
day,
I know.
all day, all day. You know, I'm
All
kind of
right.
psycho, nigga. I'll give you some good game, James.
Exactly. COVID-19. It's 2021 now. We're damn near a year into the full. I think we shut down in March sometime last year. So
February.
February. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're a year past it. We stayed inside, and a lot of us put on quarantine pounds. A lot of us gained more bad habits being stuck in the damn house. So you know, Devery, you work in the health industry with fitness. Why do you think we're not talking about healthier choices and eating healthy and being active with all this pandemic going on? We forgot the main thing about putting healthy shit in our bodies for our immune system to be built and strong enough to fight some of this shit.
Right.
So,
Well, I'm gonna say, one is not designed for us to focus on health because the design is for us to have fear, uh, be scared, right? And the fear is death, right? So if I use media to show people the same things, talk about the same thing, get people to basically train their mind to think a certain way because that's what they're doing through media because they're paid by certain people, certain corporations or whoever, right? And then you got people like Bill Gates who is a funder of stuff like the COVID vaccination, we'll say.
Right.
So,
Mm-hmm.
one thing about what the system does in people is they create problems and they create solutions. But the solutions are really not solutions. What they are is they're like smoke screens because all it does is harm something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you look
Mm-hmm.
at big pharma,
Mm-hmm.
what they do. Dialysis is a $1 billion business, and they say, okay, you do dialysis because you live longer, but it's $1 billion business. Now, a lot of people that are on blood pressure medicines, all these medications that actually harm the kidneys. So it's just a domino effect. So going back to why aren't we talking about healthier choices? If I educate people to actually eat better, right? Eat better, not eat all this junk food, exercise. If I talk about that, they won't fund what I need them to fund so I can make money. That's just
Right.
my opinion. So
Nobody will support it. Nobody will, cause it's positive. It's positive.
right, right. So I can't
That's
focus
bullshit.
on that part. Yes, and that's what they've done. They've used media to
Man.
basically gear people's thoughts and to
Mm-hmm.
place fear in people. So that's what it's done. People are scared of death. But if
Man.
people were really scared of death, do you think they would change their eating habits? Do you even think they would go out and walk? Do you think that they would go out in the sun, out nature? They got, people are thinking that they're in the park with masks on, not even around people because
In their
it's in their head.
cars. They in the car.
They in the
Man, I said
car,
they in the
right?
car with the
By
mask on.
themselves in the car with a mask on.
I said it's coming through the vents. It's in the air. It's in the car. Man, look, hey, I'm just done with this shit. I think the COVID shit is for the weak. It's for the weak. It's for the weak mentally.
There we go.
It's for the weak.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, we
Yeah,
could.
yeah, you know. The shit is bullshit though. Yeah, niggas be like, yeah, I caught that shit. Yeah, you caught a common cold, nigga. Fuck.
That part. That part. That part. People get the flu, pneumonia, all every day,
Exactly. All the
and pass
time.
away from it.
Man died from pneumonia. Mother died from
Yes.
pneumonia and shit, man. Like,
Now with
yeah,
them, okay, they created whatever they created in the lab, whatever they did, and
yeah.
enhanced the flu or whatever else,
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But people don't have like the self esteem and really believe in themselves, their own body, to or just even help. Right? We have so many
Mm.
different things out here, natural remedies, different things to
Right.
help with
Right.
the immune system. But what I
Mm-hmm.
tell people is, what if you chose to like, what if sweating, okay, for example, do you believe that
Mm-hmm.
sweating can remove toxins? So if you are feeling sick, if you just go out there and do something that you can sweat, you will remove,
Right.
start to release toxins in your body that
Mhm.
Right.
can
Right.
and boost your immune system. So
Mm.
I just
Right.
say, why, yeah, why aren't we talking about healthier choices? I think it's
Uh,
about money. They couldn't possibly tell people to,
definitely.
let's keep promoting, alcohol. Let's keep promoting all these things that actually take your immune system down, right?
Right.
Bring your immune system down, which is alcohol is one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we
The
continue to
biggest one.
promote that, then we can get paid.
Right.
Damn, that's pretty sad.
That's
Like,
it's
yeah.
real. That shit is real. It's really it's real because what is everybody they're giving us these money and they're giving us the money and what is everybody doing with the money? You see, nigga, everybody is buying bottles, drugs, partying, like they know what the government they know what they doing, bro. Nobody is like
Sure.
really looking at the big picture, like
And then
Mhm.
let me bring up another
they,
point.
oh, we
Okay,
getting free
the
money.
whole little,
No,
I think he's
we're
going in
giving
and
it
out.
back
I know.
to the industries. We're giving it all back
StreamYard
to the
always do.
industries. Like everything is going back to them, no matter what way you put it.
Damn, StreamYard, why you gotta be messing with
Cause we talking about they stuff to make money. No.
us?
Okay, I think we hear him now. We good?
I think so.
Oh, it look like he.
StreamYard.
It's tripping on you, bro. StreamYard hating on us, man. Oh, you could go ahead and say your point, Devery.
Oh, shoot. What was I about to say?
You said
Um,
you was gonna bring up another point.
well, what was my other point? Shoot, I think it slipped my mind. But just going back to the topic, just this whole thing has really like, if you actually see, one thing I want to point out is that a lot of us are just doing what we told to do and not really thinking logical. Because if you think logical about everything that they've told us about this whole little thing, a lot of it don't even make sense. But and you speak about fitness and health, people. Oh, this is what I want to say. My bad. So the whole
Okay.
little COVID situation, right, where we have to stay in the house or whatever, right? I don't know if you guys were able to see doctors actually speak against that, because they said that if you're not out and about, if you're not getting basically exposed to different type of I don't want to say viruses, but different things, your immune system is not building the immunity, right? But they want they well, let's see, made us right mandatory. Stay in a home, stay away from people. You have, because if you keep people isolated, right? Now I can't speak for I've never been isolated in a jail cell before, but my
Hmm.
brothers that have, I think that they literally had to create like mental strength. right, from a higher power to be able to stay in a space isolated. And even with just one person, if you think about it, right? So if you think about us as just everyday people who had to stay in a house, right? Because they were told to, and then because of fear, it's not good for your mental health. We're social beings, right? So we're going to talk about health. We can talk about health all around. Did they talk about mental health? Did they talk about, you know, helping people enhance their mental health, being isolated with their families? I mean, it's so many things to it, and I think that played a huge part in what people. A lot of people had, like somebody said, COVID weight. A lot of people that I know that attend my classes, they started to feel depressed. They were feeling sad, and they didn't even know why they felt sad because they gained 10, 15 pounds from staying home. So I think that, you know, one, to be honest, I chose to not listen to that. Like my loved ones that I wanted to go around, my friends, that's what I did. Right. The people that felt comfortable, because some people were still, you know, here afraid, which I understand, but you know, you talking about mental health too. It nobody talked about that though. You know, that wasn't the topic.
Right. No, that's correct. That's a good point, man. That's definitely a good point. Bringing up these healthy alternatives. You know, it just didn't make sense to go ahead and shut yourself in the house. And, you know, not being exposed to the air outside, not to the sun. What you get in the sun has a lot of power too. You know, you get in the sun and you know it kills a lot of stuff too. It gives you certain vitamins and minerals.
Absolutely.
Still lagging?
That's what you say? Oh yeah, screen on. Yeah, the sun gives you natural, you know, natural vitamins and minerals. So you being deprived of that, being stuck in the house and stuff like that, it was never the right thing. So you know, I'm glad that you brought that up because even now with the world opening back up and everything, all of a sudden, you know, cases aren't being reported to rise out of nowhere. You know, I guess that they're trying to prove that the vaccine works or whatnot.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, that's another topic, but you know, yeah, I definitely think that we got to just make healthier choices overall. I shouldn't take a pandemic or a coronavirus or anything like that. Like you said something very deep to me. You said people they kill us with fear. Like
you can hear me now? Am I back in or what?
Oh, you in. They kill us with the fear by telling us that we have to wear masks or we'll catch the disease, so we get scared. But like you said, you was really scared. You would eat better. You would exercise. You really scared to death. So it's the exact opposite. You know, I'm glad you brought that point up. That was a strong point to me. This is another one we could talk all day about. You know,
I know.
We gotta get to the next. We'll touch on that on another episode as well. That's never going on.
Can I just say one thing, Ronnie?
Yeah, of course.
To whoever watching, y'all, I'm just gonna share herbs that do work, right? Natural antioxidants, antibiotics. These are natural. Oregano oil, black seed oil, colloidal silver, and it's one more.
Sea moss.
Sea moss is another one. Yep. So I just wanted to share that for all my peeps watching. Go get your good medicine, natural medicine. Okay, F all this other stuff they got going.
Can you text me those? I'm gonna forget. You gotta text me that stuff.
Okay, I got you. I just have to say that. I have to share that with whoever watching. If you don't know about it, trust me. You start to feel like you catching something. Guaranteed. Just start taking that stuff. Drink lots of water. Drink lots of water.
Ooh, lots of water.
Right? Trust me. Because what you need to do is remove the toxins, release. And then I'm going to say exercise, because sweat releases toxins.
So, you know, you
I'm going to leave y'all with that. That's all I want to say, Ronnie.
No, big facts. Thank you for that. A lot don't know. So you just dropped, you know, some game on everybody. Thank y'all for that. Thank you for that. something that we don't address. Bullying with children. It seems to be, now that I'm older, man, I kind of think back on my childhood at certain points. And I think certain points, everybody was mean to somebody or said some shit to somebody that they shouldn't say. Bullying. Like, think about it in junior high school. If a kid was poor or if he had Payless shoes or, you know, didn't have no clothes, you know what I'm saying? You got clown, hardcore, and clown to the point where it'll make you feel like shit. But as an adult now, you realize like it wasn't that kid's fault that their parents were
Me
poor.
too. Me too. I want to. Me
You know
too.
what I'm saying? Like, how you gonna clown a
I
kid
need them
for
too.
something that they cannot control? So, bullying and everything, and bullying with kids,
Text it to me, nigga.
bullying with kids, um, is very common now, but it was common then. We just chose to ignore it back then, and we didn't realize what we were doing. Making you don't know what a kid is going through at home, man. And I realized that myself. I can't speak for no one else's struggles. Everybody else has their own. But me, having the two deaths in high school, my sister in ninth grade and my mother after my 10th grade year, I felt that a lot of people, they didn't know. They don't know. They don't know what you're going through, and then you got people looking at you a certain way, like you're weird or something else, but they don't know what the fuck you're going through at home. So, how, what do you think about the bullying culture, back then and now, and what can we do to kind of like change that, change the way we think about the type of shit?
I can say for me, I never been a fan of bullying. Um, I know that I was experiencing things in my household, so I believe I was mean to my sister. When I think about it now as an adult, I feel bad about it, but I was angry and taking it out on her as a teenager because of what I experienced with my
Right,
parents, right?
right,
But I never, when as far as the social setting, I've never been one for bullying. Like I just never was a part of that, and I always befriended people that were bullied, or just not always, but I'm saying that those people that I did know that got bullied, um, I just became their friend because I think they needed a friend. Like, it's just it wasn't right. And I could see, and I'm gonna say this: working with kids and working with schools, different situations with the school system, kids are cruel, man. It's sad,
man.
super cruel to other kids, but those kids are usually going through something at home. So
That's facts. That's facts. I mean, even when we went to school, I remember, man, we going to school in Pomona, going to school at Palomar's, and seeing, hearing some of the shit I heard and seeing some of the shit you heard. Like, even I feel sorry for the little girl sometimes. She could be, like I said, wearing Payless shoes,
hmm
two outfits to wear, but then pretty as can be, and everybody thinks she ugly and disgusting, and that destroys her confidence because she can't dress the way everybody else dressed, or she can't afford the Jordans and at the time
right,
the Jerry Stackhouses and Grant Hills and shoes
right,
like that everybody was wearing. You call her dirty and ugly because she can't dress like everybody else, and I think that sets the tone that fucks up people's confidence. Which
right,
leads to little girls becoming hoes or doing things that people are going to say that they're degrading themselves because the confidence is gone.
right,
Even for the boys too. Boys got it tough too. You know what I'm saying? Like growing up, you taught to try to be tough as you can. Don't show emotion, but motherfuckers got feelings too. You know what I'm saying? Like you a boy, you got feelings too. You're a man, you got
absolutely,
feelings too. So I think
right,
that it's pretty sad. I didn't recognize that at times. Like I said, I don't consider myself a bully, but I know that I've done some bully behavior
hmm
myself, and I regret it. And,
yeah,
I wish I could take it back, because it's not cool to sit up there and treat somebody like that. We forget that people are human beings.
absolutely, yeah. Yeah, it takes education from from the parents. But what I would say is one thing that I really noticed with dealing with schools now in my personal job is that these school staff are telling kids to ignore stuff, and I don't know if that's always the best answer because things need to be talked about with parents. It should be addressed with parents, and then it should be addressed with among those two kids. You're calling this person a name. Let's sit these kids down. Like, what's going on?
Right.
And really, educating children because children are ignorant, right?
Right.
So, and they may do what they see or experience at home. It's so many different things children are going through, and they act it out in school. So, um, I have a nephew at a performing arts school, and he does acting, plays instruments, but he's also like a jokester, and he always been kind of like a class clown. But we just got on him because he loves to kind of like joke about people, and so we get on him tough. Like, dude, just if you talking about people, make sure you could take that heat back
Right.
because you gonna run your mouth about somebody. Make sure you can take that back. And then the question is why are you doing that? And I
Right.
understand you're a jokester, and but let me tell you, you will get punched out if you say it to the wrong person.
Facts.
So
Facts.
we tell him, even him and his little friends are what they do. They do what they do, but still, like, we try to teach him. Just if I hear it, I'm like, hey, what's going on? Because that ain't always cool. I understand some friends like to bag on each other, like, you know,
Right.
but
Definitely, we got to get it together, man,
yeah,
because
for sure.
it's not cool now having kids your own self now, or nieces and nephews or anything, any kids that you care about. Don't have to be your own, but having kids in your family that you care about, it kind of helps you look at it from a different way because they come home
Yeah,
and they're being teased or bullied for something that what I'm saying, that people say is wrong with them. You ready to go tear somebody's head off? Like, man, I'll fuck
right,
that kid up.
right. Well, like,
So
absolutely. One another like nephew of mine, he had long hair, and my sister would like to put him in like pigtails, but people, I guess, at school would say he looked like a girl. So for years, a boy going to school, or let's say a couple years, few years, going to school, that's not good for his confidence to keep being called a girl
right,
or be
right,
mistaken by as a girl. And I understand. Some of our peoples love the long hair culture. Whether they boys or girls, they want their hair to be long.
right, right,
And so, we would tell my sister, like, why don't you let him cut his hair if he want to cut his hair? People
right,
can call him a girl.
right,
And I think it was affecting him because he's not a girl,
right,
But
right.
us trying to tell my sister, let him cut his hair, you
Let him,
know,
yeah,
he's a boy, let him
yeah.
look like a boy. I understand we like to grow our hair out and all that, but come on, let the young boy grow his hair so he don't have to keep being called a girl.
Right. Let him cut his hair. Right. I agree with that. 100%. 100%. Especially that's an easy fix. If he's not comfortable with, what people saying to him, that's an easy fix. You can just go ahead and cut your hair. What I'm saying? So, definitely,
Well, she actually allowed him to cut it. No lie, she let him cut it like all around, and then he like how kids got the hair at the top.
yeah, yeah.
Do you know how happy he was? Boy,
I'm telling you, it's probably changed his whole world.
you feel me?
You know what I'm saying? And you don't got to wake up worried about that going to school or going outside anymore
Yes,
yourself.
absolutely, exactly.
Yeah, glad she listened to you. Glad she listened to you.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that we kind of keep on a hush hush as a whole, black people, white people, Hispanic, Latino, don't mean to offend, I don't know if I said that right. Asian, all races and cultures. We seem to try to avoid talking about race and racism. Um, You know, why is it that we talk about? Thank you, CC. I love these topics. They definitely hit home. Thank you, thank you.
Thank
Um,
you. Yes.
yeah. We don't talk about racism, and it's uncomfortable. And for some reason, I think that stops our progression because we have one group that is pressed and talk about it all the time. Then
Mhm.
the same rebuttal comes up, not just from outsiders, but within our own community every time something goes down, such as a black child getting 4 bullets in their chest from the police. The comments are always, well, where were the parents at? What did they do? It's their fault. Let's blame. It's always something like that. And that's all true. Yes, we need to start, have responsibility over what we're doing, but we can't use that and say the reality is shit happens. We get into fights, not just us, black people, everyone. We all get that's the whole purpose of law enforcement, right? So when people get out of line, we're supposed to call law enforcement so they can get people back in line. I thought that was the point. So you can't just say, "Oh, what is everyone doing? Why did they allow this to happen?" Shit happens. People in my family have been in fights. Police have been called. To me, it's up to the police officer to arrive on the scene and handle it responsibly, and not just bias. So I think that people don't want to talk about this stuff because people view everything from different lenses. I don't know what your experience have been with other races in our own race, but I'm just speaking about a lot of people that you know white people and black people. I'm shocked on some of the things that are being said and some of the beliefs and Hispanic people that I looked at different. But when this stuff goes down, I just don't see how anyone can be okay with the police killing a child. I got a 15-year-old daughter, man. I got a 15-year-old daughter. And it hurts me to see that there's
Mhm.
people out there that are saying that's justified because she was. What if my daughter was in a fight? She was getting jumped outside of my house, and my other daughter called the police because she was afraid for her life. My daughter went grabbing a knife because she's afraid she got 5 people trying to jump her. You mean to tell me that for those of you that know my daughter, the more important thing to be addressing was where was I at, what was I doing, and what caused that? Not saying that the police could have handled that child a little bit more gently. The police could have not put 4 bullet holes in her. The police could have maybe tased her. The police could have maybe shot her one time. Something. Why do you got to put 4 holes in the chest? That's a child, man. So not specifically talking about that issue. Just I want to your thoughts on racism and why nobody wants to address them. How do we comfortably talk about this to come up with solutions?
Well, Ronnie, like you just said, comfortable. It's uncomfortable because when you
Yeah.
talk about racism, one, we have to look at ourselves, right? And
Hmm.
and let's think about it. A lot of us as Black people don't even like ourselves, don't like our skin color, don't like who we are, don't like our hair. I just
Where?
posted a post about Malcolm X stating, like, who told you to hate your hair? Like, who taught you that? Who told you to hate the shapes of your lips, the size of your lips, your nose,
Right.
your skin color? Now we know it's a psychological thing from slavery, or just yeah, generations, right? But
Right.
we got to start here. Like, we got to look at ourselves. So if you hate yourself, if you gonna hate you, right? You gonna hate you, which is everybody else that look like you.
Right.
So my point of bringing that part is that you have people that ignore who they really are. So they'll
Right.
never address themselves. They'll never address racism because they're talking about themselves and they hate
Right.
themselves. So if I
Damn.
ignore it, it didn't happen. Or if I get surgery and I make my nose smaller,
Oh,
if I straighten my hair all the time,
mm,
right? If I
mm.
wear weaves all the time, you
Speak on it.
know, then maybe I'll look more like Europeanized, right?
Hmm.
And I'll be more acceptable, so I don't have to talk about racism.
Mm. Damn.
So yeah, it's so many things. It's so many levels to it. I think
Yeah.
I think people are just good at trying to ignore things, and because if I don't speak on it, it didn't happen.
Right.
So
Right.
I think that's
It,
why
it,
people won't address it.
it irks me on all sides from our own people, black people that do it, and then it irks me even more from white people because it's just so sad because you're living in your little bubble, your little wealthy bubble, or your bubble where life is so good for you, and you don't know down the street, down the block, man, like the next city over, motherfuckers is going through shit. So you ignore racism, like to just turn a blind eye to something that you know is there. It just hurts so bad. Like it just makes you want to hate everybody because it's like no one gives a fuck about us. Why should I give a fuck about anybody else?
Yeah.
You know, um, racism is a real thing. Um, it's still big in this country, in this world. It may have changed. They may have tried to conceal it. They may have tried to hide the way they go about it.
Right.
But I mean, people only want to look at statistics that are convenient, or they want to manipulate certain numbers. So a number always brought up. People always say, look up the stats. There are more white people killed by the police than there are black people. And I always got to roll my eyes and say, fucking, how retarded can you be? You cannot be that dumb to think that simple minded. Okay, yes, statistics do show there are more white people killed by the police than black people. But you got to look at those numbers a little bit closer. You got to start remembering what you were taught in math class. Ratios. The ratio is way different. It's 5 to 1 when we're comparing
Facts.
ratios of who's getting killed by
Facts.
the police. White people cover 66% of this country. Black people cover 12%. The fact that white people have maybe 20,000 more killed by the police than black, when the discrepancy with numbers of how many people are in the country for each race, it shouldn't even be that close, people.
Facts.
So don't say stupid shit without even thinking about what you're talking about. And it irks me. I see this shit all the time. Like, man, that's how people just ignore
Blind
it.
market. Mm-hmm.
It just irritates me that we don't have people that people don't want the world to get better. Like I said, even some of our own people live in the bubbles. We got a lot of successful black people who got money, who are doing well, and I salute all y'all. Trust me, I'm not hating on all y'all who are doing well and made it to the pinnacle and reached success. I wish you the best, and I wish you continue to have success. But how do you just sit here and still ignore what's being going on because maybe you're not being directly affected?
Right. Or if they say, well, I made it to the top, so you can. You don't need my help, or I'm not about to help you.
Right,
You might
right,
make me look bad, or
right,
however, white
right.
people will think. But a lot of times, like I hear women now who have corporate jobs that work in HR, just different settings. They still, we still believe in our minds, if I have an interview, I gotta wear my hair straight, or I gotta wear my hair slicked back as much as possible in a ponytail or bun, because I can't possibly wear my hair like this
Uh,
or
uh,
natural in a
uh,
natural state and get this job.
uh, uh,
So I know women that will not wear braids because I have to, be professional. And professional, it's, to me, it is strictly Europeanized, Western culture, just like school, just like all these damn systems that they've created. All of them. Sick of all of them, to be honest
right.
with you, because it's all about sick of it, because it's all about Europeanized culture and Westernized culture, and um, it has created, a psychological warfare, and within the Black community, that we cannot be who we are, and we
Right.
cannot be ourselves. I was just talking about Michael Jackson's song. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. If you guys remember that song runs deep to me, just because if you look at Michael Jackson, like he changed his nose, he changed his skin, whether he had, a disease or not, I don't
Mhm,
know. Um, his hair was straight, right? Um, he looked more, to me, more feminine, right? So he took away his masculinity,
mhm,
right? He took
mhm,
away his his melanin from his skin, even if it was, different colors. I don't know, but if you look at him, he sang that song, and maybe he realized that I've done all this. I've done what they've asked me to do, and they still don't give a fuck about me. If you look at the This Is It tour, and I'm only speaking what I've seen, so I'm not making this shit up. And I remember he's like, "This is it," and I just think this man could barely walk. This man, and he probably loved to do what he loved to do because he's amazing. He was amazing. But what I'm saying is, I remember him saying like, "This is it, like this is it," and I'm just thinking, damn, like Hollywood, they don't give a fuck about you. You look at Whitney, like you could be almost on your barely being able to stand up, but they want
Right.
that bread. Bring me that bread. You owe me whatever this contract say. I don't care
Right.
how you are mentally, physically, it don't matter. And so
Right.
I just think that um it goes back to why we don't address it, because I think that we are trying to make it right. We are all in the same boat, but we as Black people have that crab in a barrel mentality. So we just pull each other down versus unify, figure out how we can all get over this hill. I think we're starting to figure it out. I think we're trying, more of us are speaking about it, but like my parents' generation, the generation before that, definitely not. I think some of our parents' generation did talk about it. They probably were the first to, like, your first Black woman to do something, your first Black man to do something. A lot of our parents' generation experienced that because when they were children, they were actually segregated, and they couldn't, be whatever position they
Right.
wanted to be. So it just goes back to why we don't address it. I think it's so many reasons, because it's reality. If we address something, we have to face facts, right?
Right.
And if I ignore it, then it doesn't happen. So um I just think, like, especially, like, no offense to Black men that love others, but my specific thing with Black men that find security within white women, I think it has a lot to do with psyche, meaning
Right.
that they find security somehow within the white women because it's closer to the white man. So if I get with a white woman and I ignore what's really going on,
Right.
right, then I'll be closer to where I want to be.
Right.
And that's what I think is really about, is that we suffer because we're really all just trying to get to a certain, we all want to be comfortable. We all do. You
Right.
know, you
Right.
have the chosen few that are of your celebrity status, but I don't think they're necessarily all happy. You
Right.
know, they say that's why we hear about people killing themselves with prescription pills. And I mean, I mentioned Michael Jackson. I don't know that he was happy. If he was a happy person, would he have be taking whatever they found in his system to sleep, or whatever? But I don't know all the facts. I don't. But I'm just saying that we think that the wealth, because that's what they basically educated us on status,
Right.
right? Status, and I think that's where we all are trying to get to, is just living. We want to be comfortable. Money allows you to have opportunity, more, access to things, resources. That's a big thing, right?
Big thing. Big
Yeah.
thing.
And so, I just think that all plays a part in why we don't address racism.
That's a fact, man. That's a fact. I couldn't have said it any better. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely a big part on why we don't address it. Psyche has a lot to do with it, like you said, social status and all that other stuff. Um, CC says, "Yep, she right. They looked at me crazy when I walked in my interview with side long braids." And
Yeah.
that's
Hmm.
a shame. Like, why are you judged because of a hairstyle that you have?
It's true. Well, you know
Like,
what? To be honest, Ronnie, I've heard at my job, um, the weave or the straight hair, she looks clean. It's a clean look. They won't say it to you, but they'll say it to somebody else. We want somebody with a clean look. That's a
clean.
word that I've heard people use.
That's how they describe and try to disguise what they're really saying. I
Mhm.
can bring up. I want to say 18, and I applied for a job at a Frito Lay. in Rancho, and I never forget this. Went to my interview. You know, I did have cornrows and earrings in my ear, of course. I'm a young man. You know what I'm saying? But at that point, I ain't never been to jail, never been arrested. I ain't never been in no type of trouble like that. And I go into this interview, and one of the first things they say to me is, "You can't keep those cornrows. You look like a thug." And I was like, "What? Excuse me?" And I'm 18, mind you, and this is how they fuck us up. They get us young. At that point, I knew that I wanted to work for myself already. I always thought of that. But from that point on, I was like, I can never, ever, ever fucking get with a company because I know this is how they think. What do you mean I look like a fucking thug because I'm wearing something that's cultural? Braids and cornrows, that's cultural. That's how my hair is. If my hair grows, I'm able to tie my hair down and slick it back and have braids. Are you jealous that you can't? You know what I'm saying? So that
I'm surprised they didn't ask to touch it.
yeah, is that and they don't even ask, they just touch. White people, they like to touch. Hey, I'm like, hey, get your hands off me. I'm not a fucking dog. Don't pet me. Don't pet me. You know what I'm saying? It's such a stereotype. So I can't wear braids, but the white boy down the hall could wear spikes up to here, and that doesn't look non-clean. Or he could wear a pussy ass white afro, and that's what you consider clean. So, yeah, definitely, it's a racism big topic, and we'll be touching back more on that at a later date.
It is definitely.
Yeah, definitely. She said, "Wow, yeah, it's a true story. It's a true story. I've had several things like that happen to me where I was profiled because of the way I looked.
Right.
Looked like a thug, but I ain't never been in jail. I ain't never been on drugs or nothing like that. So, that's what we go through."
No, I know. I've heard of different experiences that, especially Black men have going into interview or just working. It's like, and I don't blame a lot of Black men who say like, I can't work no job. Like I'm not about to work no job, so I'd rather just hustle or be an entrepreneur and get in where I can get in and flip money, however I can flip it, right? But then the effects of that is that they make it hard when they need something within the system, such as an apartment, a home.
Right.
We know they could bring in 5 G's a month, but guess what? You got to have it on paper, and to them, you got to make it make sense. If it don't make sense to them, you can't own a home. You can't do these things, So,
good point.
But I know that at the job they degrade Black men, because they want you to be to me, you guys are powerful and superior in my eyes, and they want you to be, and then they're intimidated. So let's just be honest, right?
Yeah.
They're intimidated.
Yeah.
So they want you to be feminine, right? Effeminized.
Yeah.
Dummy down your masculinity because they're really scared of you.
Facts. It's a fact. It's
just
a fact.
Jealous. They say slavery was really about the dick. You know what I mean? White men, they said, had issues with the Black dick. That's why they did the things they did to Black men.
Yes.
Sexually, it was
They're
about
inferior.
power. Right.
They're inferior. So, like you said, people may think it's funny, but it's actually true. You know what I'm saying? Especially imagine back then how, we wore less clothing back then. Everyone wore less clothing. We weren't always covered up. So they seen that shit hanging down to the floor. It was like, what the hell? Like, how come? Why mine don't look like that? And then they wives start going after them and
Right.
sneak.
They was curious.
Yeah,
Right.
curious. You know what I'm saying? They start going to go get their little swang on, and you right. It was about that. It was like that. Fuck this shit. We gotta chop these niggas down.
Right. Or we gotta take their masculinity like by fucking them in the butt.
Oh my god, yes. Oh my god. That's another one. That's another definitely that rabbit hole goes deep. Forced and took the masculinity away so they wouldn't went, oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I never
it's so fucked up. It's horrible.
Yeah, it is.
It's so fucked up. Yeah.
It's
yeah, it's crazy. I just would like our peoples to feel comfortable addressing racism, at least among each other. Like, let's keep it real. Let's keep it
exactly.
100.
It's
Let's stop
exactly.
ignoring who we are,
Yeah, exactly.
but it's hard for a lot of our people because they're trying to make it and they're trying to put food on the table. So I get it, but my hope is for our people to continue to evolve and just become more conscious and love themselves for who we are as a people.
Facts. Definitely facts. Kind of switching gears here. To end off, dating. When you're dating somebody and you have children. Um, just based off things that I've seen, been through, watched other people go through. When you, unfortunately, there's a lot of broken homes in this generation. I'm not knocking any woman for having multiple kids, fathers, baby daddies, as we call them. You know what I'm saying? A lot of niggas got a whole bunch of baby mamas, but when is it okay? We got to start thinking about the children and not ourselves, I think. When is it okay to introduce your children to the opposite sex that you're dating?
Ooh, that's a good
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's a timeline or I don't know, because what if that don't work out with that person? So if you keep dating
right,
people and you introduce your kid to Sally, Susie, May, like DMX,
right.
Don, LaShawn, Inez, and Alicia, you got all these girls coming around your kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is my girlfriend. You done had 19 girlfriends. Like, what do you think is the proper age, or when is the appropriate time to introduce, your kids to somebody that you dating or somebody you plan to spend your life with?
That's interesting. You know what? I'm gonna say this. You know, dating men. I've heard different things, but I know one guy. Um, he was really like hesitant on having his kids around me because he felt like his kids could sabotage our relationship because he knows his kids, right? You
Yeah,
know your children the
yeah,
best.
yeah,
So him knowing his children, he know how they be acting, whether, because, some kids have different struggles that
yeah.
others don't. You got some kids that's just A+ kids, right? And then you
Right,
got some kids that get D's, C's, and F's for whatever reason, different reasons, right?
right.
So if you know your kid, you know, if I introduce my children to this person, I care about this person. I don't want this person to be affected in a negative way by my kids because my kids be tripping. Do I hold that off, that
Mm.
introduction, or I introduce them, but I just don't really have them around her? I've experienced that, and I've had those conversations like, why we don't, do nothing together? Let's hang out. It's like, well, to be honest with you, I know my kids, and I don't want them to, the way they be acting is actually, it's kind of embarrassing. So I think that's one side of things, right?
Yeah, I never thought about that side. Damn.
And then you have your side where you have daughters that are amazing, right?
Right, right. Thank
And yeah, and that daddy's girls,
you. Yeah,
so they're protective, right? And
yeah,
so you're like, well, not just anybody can meet them. They have to
yeah.
be special, or they have to be, a line where it could work with the family, you guys.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
think there's two. I think there's different sides to look at.
Damn, I kind of want to address that side you just named because I never really thought about that. And that's true. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's like a tough one to handle. Like, but to me, that's where the story is told right there. I don't want to have to hide anything. You know what I'm saying? The right woman is not going to run away because the kids may be a little troubled, or they may be, let's fuck it. Let's say you got some badass kids, or, you know,
Right.
and
Right.
I know people with badass kids, trust me. But
No, for real.
yeah,
Yeah. Some kids just got, they got issues.
they got
They did
issues,
therapy, they did all kinds of stuff, and they still like don't get it. So it's,
they don't get it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like for any man or woman, the right one, bad kids, if they care about you and love you like that, Having bad kids ain't finna make them go away. If you do, that
Right.
must she wasn't for you, or he
Right.
wasn't for you.
You right. Mm-hmm.
You got to take, these are.
For sure.
Let's say I got 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. They're part of me. So if you
Right.
fuck with me, if you love me, you gotta love my kids exact same way.
Right.
So I shouldn't be afraid to introduce you or to
Yeah.
have you around my kids because I'm afraid that they might fuck it up.
Right.
You know. So that right there, that's a good point. I understand some of your struggles, but I think that you definitely shouldn't want to hide for that reason.
Right.
And for on my side of things, I have to be careful. You know what I'm saying? Because you're the very first example of a man, of a black man, and the same men that we hate that do our daughters wrong, and you don't want to be that man. So
Right.
if you're a man that has a lot of women and you're letting your daughters watch this and you're bringing them all in the house,
Mm-hmm.
doing all type of crazy shit, look at the example you setting for your daughters. That's the type of man she's going to go get after because they look at their dad first. So
Oh,
I think
yeah.
the responsible thing is to not introduce every woman that you deal with to your daughters until you know, and you don't never really know, but you get deep into the relationship to where you be like, okay, I feel she's gonna be around. Let me take that shot. I think it should be kept separate. I don't think you should, in my opinion, you should just be introducing everybody you talk to your kids.
Mm-hmm.
For a little boy watching this, his father with multiple women coming around. What the hell you think he gonna do when he grow up? He's like his daddy.
Right.
The mom is their mom's responsibility. You want to do the niggas that you hate. Oh, I hate these niggas. Same niggas you complaining about. You got to be careful on raising your son to be one of them niggas. Feel me?
Yeah, it's true. Mm-hmm.
Yes, they are. Let me see. Yep. That part. You know what I'm saying? We definitely have to do a lot better. I think, in my opinion, of doing that. You can't just be bringing everybody around with random kids, man. We can't do that. We got to stop doing it.
Yeah.
I want to. We got another comment. Right, the kids got to be included. The kids are our priority. Period. We're building for them. So if my man or woman have kids who are battling some stuff, we're gonna handle this together.
That's a good point. That's awesome. Awesome point. Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that. If
Yep,
I like a woman and she got some troublesome kids, and I really love her, I ain't about to go nowhere. We're about to figure this shit out. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Definitely appreciate everybody
That's a good
coming on today and joining. Thank you, Desiree, for coming on. We had a longer show than normal this time, but I felt it was warranted. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. Tez, for some reason, his when we do this on StreamYard around the 37th or 40th minute, every time his connection starts tripping every single time. I promise you. Like,
wow.
Yeah, and I forgot about that one because we haven't done this in a long time virtually. So we'll make some adjustments. Yeah.
Okay.
But thank everybody for watching the High Learning Podcast. I want to shout out Devotion to Health. I want to shout out, Devotion to Health. Y'all follow her and check her out. She's doing great things with fitness. Has her dance classes and she can help you with the eating and all that. So tap into her. Tap in. Shout out to Higher Learning Podcast team. Shout out to HNS 420. Everybody been down with me from the beginning. I'm not everyone forget you guys and remember the people that's been supporting and people that's been down for the movement. Shout out to the politicking team, politicking broadcasting. Kalen, he's in Atlanta, doing the thing. So shout out to Kalen. And definitely want you guys to come back next week. We got some heat next week. We're gonna have a full panel, 4 or 5 people. So come out and watch us next week. Don't forget to visit the website hns420.com to get your merch and apparel. And we're having some new stuff being made, and we'll have some new stuff being out. So until next time, I'm gonna do my dad duties, make some dinner, read some books, and do my thing. You have any last words, Deborah? You want to get any shout outs or anything?
No, I'm just out here for my peeps. Let me throw it together for my peeps. Okay, for sure. I'm down. Follow me, Devotion to Health, TO, Devotion to TO, Health, one word. I definitely put a lot of inspiring things on there. But yeah, follow me. It's all about elevating, evolving, and growing.
Yes, elevate, involving, and motivating. Growing all
for sure.
Comment. You have a good night too. Thank you, appreciate it. And Higher Learning Podcast, we out.
Peace.